good evening and welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily evening television news. We're broadcasting live and then we're available on demand and available on all smart televisions, including Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, YouTube, and Facebook. It's time to queer up the news. It's Monday, August 28th, 2023. We're live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight with Al Ferguson.
I'm your anchor at Queer News Tonight, Al Ferguson, and this evening we bring you the news of and a perspective representing the LGBTQ plus community from South Florida, America, and across our planet.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ plus evening news show. Whatever happens unique in LGBTQ plus news, you will see it and hear it.
Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ plus community. Our mission is to support the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ plus community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of our Black community, Latino, lesbians and queer women, trans, students, youth, seniors, HIV/AIDS healthcare, business, social justice, and faith. Help us support our community.
We are part of one of the world's largest LGBTQ plus media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network. Our magazine is celebrating 38 years of the LGBTQ plus experience, and our television, news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ plus and broader community.
Well, let's welcome anchor FayWhat. She's a radio and television personality and is the host of the FayWhat Show, the first LGBTQ plus morning program, Mondays at 9 a.m., and then on demand on all streaming and social media platforms. She's also a hostess and MC for many South Florida events. Welcome, Faye.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be here.
Well, let's welcome anchor Gregg Shapiro, an inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame. Gregg is the author of 9 books. His entertainment coverage, including celebrity interviews, runs in a variety of print and online publications. Welcome, Gregg.
Thanks, glad to be back.
And let's welcome anchor Jacob Reide Jennings, a professional ballroom and Latin dancer turned real estate broker and philanthropist. Jacob leads the Sherlock Holmes Foundation, a nonprofit 501c3 to address LGBTQ plus and youth housing insecurity. Welcome, Jacob.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you again.
We are the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast. And here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Monday, August 28th. Let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Midland gives free FlockFest Splash Red Edition pool party tickets Labor Day weekend, September 3rd. Labor Day weekend is the unofficial end of summer, and FlockFest, the nonprofit that raises money for dozens of South Florida LGBTQ plus charities, will celebrate at the Splash Red Edition pool party. They have partnered with Midland to provide the community tickets for free. Midland will be giving away free FlockFest Splash Red Edition pool party general admission tickets by simply taking a 5-minute HIV test. Splash the Stigma allows you to get a free ticket when you are tested at any Midland office. Schedule an appointment by calling 954-375-1276 extension 139. Even easier, get tested at any mobile testing site this week at Alibi at Wilton Shops on Wednesday and Friday from 5 to 11 p.m., then on Saturday from 3 to 5. or test at the mobile site at Eagle Bar on Thursday, 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., and on Saturday from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. The test is a $25 value. You must mention this story and are limited to splash quantities that are available. FlockFest's Splash Red Edition Pool Party Tea Dance is this coming Sunday, September 3rd, from 12 to 5 p.m. in the heart of the Labor Day weekend. It will be at the 9th floor Easton Rooftop Pool and Lounge in downtown Fort Lauderdale. Splash Red Edition will feature DJ Alex Vampyre and hosted by the talented Prince Trilla. This is a 21-plus event, and you are encouraged to wear your best red outfit. Food will be available, and a VIP area is presented by Hunter's Nightclub and is available for early bird tickets this week of $70 and $100 at the door if they're available. Come early to enjoy a restaurant holiday Sunday brunch, and lunch specials will also be available. Spectacular views are guaranteed. More information and tickets are available at flockfestevents.org, and you can enjoy complimentary tickets from Midland by splashing the stigma and get an HIV test. It takes just 5 minutes, and it's great for you, and even greater for our community. I think this is a perfect way of ending this symbolic end of summer. Now, we know it's not the end of summer for us.
It's 103 outside.
Right, we've got 3 more months.
It's so hot that lesbians are wearing sundresses.
Yes, exactly. But it's an excellent thematic end of our summer on the 9th floor at Easton. And what a great idea of Midland to go, we'll buy your tickets if you get an HIV test. Schedule it either by making an appointment or show up at one of the mobile units that are going to go on all week long in conjunction with the FlockFest tickets. It's a win-win-win for everyone.
It really is. And the splash pool parties are phenomenal. They're so much fun. Okay. So this red edition is going to be no different. And like you said, it's so important to know your status, right, Al? And it takes you 5 minutes to take this test. So, FlockFest and Midland know how important it is for you to know your status. So they're going to bribe your ass. And that's how they do it, right? I mean, come on, think about it. Okay. Whatever it takes to get you tested. And, these pool parties, yes, the views are guaranteed. About 300 to 500 hot-ass, sexy men naked. Well, I mean, they have their Speedos on in the pool, having a great time. Red Speedos, having a great time. The music, my favorite DJ, okay, DJ Alex Ferber is like one of my favorite DJs, and he brings it. Prince Trilla will be performing, and that drag queen doesn't know how to get into the pool, how not to get into the pool. Al, she goes in full drag into the pool, okay? So, I mean, it's going to be an awesome party. Big up to FlockFest and to Midland for putting this together. I will definitely be there.
Absolutely.
I'm still trying to get over the fact that Labor Day is a week from today. What happened to the summer? Where'd it go?
Yeah, you've got 3 more months.
I know that's true. I'm complaining. Next, let's queer up education. Florida laws against diversity exclude universities from Best of the Best awards. In August 2023, Campus Pride made the difficult decision to exclude colleges and universities in Florida and Texas from the Best of the Best LGBTQ plus friendly colleges and universities list, regardless of their ranking on the Campus Pride Index. This decision was made after the passage of laws in both states that effectively prohibit colleges and universities from operating LGBTQ plus inclusive programs and other diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. The inevitable consequence of these laws will be to eliminate the types of LGBTQ plus friendly policies, programs, and practices that they ask about and evaluate on the Campus Pride Index. Many campuses in Florida and Texas have previously demonstrated a commitment to LGBTQ plus inclusion. However, the new laws will negatively impact their ability to continue to offer LGBTQ plus inclusive programs and services and to foster safe, welcoming environments for LGBTQ plus students. 4 universities excluded from the 2023 Best of the Best LGBTQ friendly listing include the University of Texas at Dallas, Texas Tech University, the University of Central Florida, and the University of North Florida. Campus Pride concluded that it could not recommend the excluded universities on the best of the best list. However, these Florida and Texas campuses still appear on the Campus Pride Index with their respective star ratings, along with others from the two states. This is just another example of how far-reaching this hateful Florida Republican agenda really is. Why would any LGBTQ plus college student want to go to school here? Why would any LGBTQ plus instructors want to teach here? This is going to result in a severe brain drain.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, again, like, how can you blame them, right? Just like you said, Greg, in good conscience, how can they tell people to come here? You know, the reality is, folks, that everybody at this table is here and we're fighting, right? We ain't got no choice. We're already here. All right. But like, why would I tell somebody to go through the extra crap that you have to go through by living in this state? You know, I have to agree with them, you know, to not, I mean, I would love this place to be filled with LGBTQ people up to the, you know, and say, hey, take these two middle fingers, right? But the reality is that life is hard enough as a student, and to have to come here with all this extra hate on top of it, it's hard to tell somebody, hey, you should come to Florida. Disney, it's a great place. It's hard.
I agree, especially college is when you find so much out about yourself and who you are. And so how many of us actually explored their discover that they were gay during college? And part of that is having a community. You do need to go where you can find people your age that understand what you're going to, that get your cultural references. And unfortunately, they can't do it while drinking Coppertone in Florida.
I'm really torn on this story and the reporting from Campus Pride. And please send all of your criticisms to FayWhat.com. But I'm torn. Campus Pride takes from my seat a little bit of a cheap shot. And the reason is I went to UCF. UCF is one of the great campuses in America embracing the LGBTQ community. That has not changed one iota. The interaction of what the state allows from the legislative process and the governor's office is a bit different and will curtail some activities on the campus. But the embracement of LGBT on the campus and the embracement by one of the largest LGBT student organizations in America on the campus of UCF, that will not change one iota. The proof of that is that Campus Pride continues to go, well, here's the star rating. So we're not saying you're one of the best schools for LGBT embracement in America, but oh wait, look at your star, because University of Central Florida has always had that star. So I'm torn here a little bit of the politics of the pylon on Florida. I do not disagree with a single word that came out of y'all's mouth, except Campus Pride is doing a little pylon. The other thing that I'm also concerned about in Campus Pride, making this distinction of this hair split of what they've done, is it does not say to someone, choose not to come to Florida. It says choose not to come to the University of Central Florida. Campus Pride does not vigorously and loudly say, well, there's another great exception to this story in Florida, and it's right here in our backyard at the University of Miami. It is not affected by anything that the state of Florida or the governor's done because they're private. They are one of the best LGBT embraced universities in America on that campus, one of the great gay student union organizations on that campus. But because we're focusing on the politics of Florida, the University of Miami is not loudly trumpeted as, oh, but by the way, and it seems to me to prove that there's a lot of politics.
They're not offering alternatives.
They're not speaking up against the idea of the politics. They're actually, in a way, participating with it. And from that standpoint, I have a bit of a problem with this story. Campus Pride does an outstanding job. My notes have no reflection on how great they are, except like much of the advocacy going on in LGBT in Florida, especially organizations outside the state, they're following the political path, exactly the opposite of the political path that our governor is doing. And I think that they're better than that, and I really wish they wouldn't do that.
Next, let's queer up the USA view. Visit Lauderdale supports LGBTQ plus community at Rose Parade with a float that includes drag queens. Governor DeSantis, are you listening? Florida might have banned drag shows in public places, but Broward County is ready to support. Visit Lauderdale to put its queens on display for the nation to see. Broward County has signed off a $790,000 plan to have a float in the January 1st, 2024 Rose Parade, the iconic New Year's tradition in California, as part of a massive advertising effort to bring tourists here to eat, sleep, shop, and play. The event is said to attract 1 million street-side spectators and 21.3 million U.S. television viewers, with more than half of those households having annual incomes above $100,000. The money for the float will come from Broward's tourist bed tax, the extra 6% charged at hotels. What gets featured on Broward's float isn't yet known, but the beaches and cruise ships of Port Everglades are likely contenders. And who gets to ride isn't finalized either, but drag queens are a consideration. And other possibilities include a Panthers hockey player, a public school teacher, a Seminole tribal member. Maybe a faux alligator will get some airtime too. The Rose Parade, also known as the Tournament of Roses, is an annual parade held mostly along Colorado Boulevard in Pasadena and includes flower-covered floats, marching bands, and equestrian units. The parade is followed in the afternoon by the Rose Bowl, one of the major bowl games in college football. How iconic is this? How incredible is this? When you think about the Rose Parade and the Rose Bowl, you think of these iconic things that happen January 1st when you're hungover and you can hardly see, but you got to turn on the TV to watch this, right? And it's, everybody watches it. So for people in California to see what's going on with us here in Florida, so important, right? And for, the float, they have $700,000 to put on this float. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be massive. I imagine LED screens and people from Pose and all the drag queens known to man, a beach. They're going to have sand on the float. They've got to have a DJ on it. I mean, think about it. South Florida represents so many beautiful things that they're going to have to put on this float. And I'm here for it. I know that Visit Lauderdale is going to do it big too. They're gonna make me proud. Put me on the float.
I was gonna say, put her on the float. That was I was gonna say that. But FayWhat?
Was that an audition tape?
Yeah, there we go.
Sounds like it.
No,
Right?
no.
Okay.
Well, maybe they can ask that notorious drag queen, Rhonda Santis, to be on the float. Thigh-high white boots and all.
Ooh.
That sounds terrifying. It really does. I mean, is she a real performer? I haven't seen her yet.
She performed in a debate on Wednesday at Hamburger Mary's. Rhonda
Santis.
I'm going to be following her on Instagram the minute we get out of here. Visit Lauderdale.com.
She was debating Donna Trump at Hamburger Mary's. One thing, just in clarification, I have a lot to say about this. First off, just a little, Faye is so technical. She always likes to be right. It's kind of a joke there. There'll be no sand on this float. And the reason is the reason the Rose Parade is considered the preeminent parade in the entire world is nothing can be shown that has not grown. So as a result,
hence all the flowers.
Exactly.
Okay.
Every single thing is covered in something living that was alive. Flowers, grass, et cetera, and so on. So no sand on this float. When I've been to the parade 3 times. I literally jumped out of my skin, and I want to say how proud I am living in this community to even think this way. Here's why. This parade, a lot of people, some of the criticism is, how could Broward County and Visit Lauderdale spend $700 and some thousand to be in this float, to have this float in this parade? It's the buy of the century. If you purchased a television commercial on a popular Wednesday night television show on NBC, you would spend more money than that. This parade is on January 1st, where you get unobstructed attention. The people that are watching this parade at 11 o'clock Eastern time, remember, where is it broadcast? It's broadcast on NBC and ABC and CBS and Home and Garden. Everybody broadcasts this parade simultaneously. And the reason is because the parade is so outstanding. When they tell you 21 million people are watching, this is on New Year's Day morning. That's how good this is. 1 million people are present. I have 3 times been with the 1 million people present on Colorado Boulevard in Pasadena. So the 1 million of generally travelers from all over the country, but mostly Californians, and then the 21 million people that are watching, they are a demographic of over $100,000 a view. Now, the person watching CSI doesn't meet that standard. You're spending the same amount of money or less for a premium audience at a premium moment. And what are they selling as that beautiful float comes down Colorado Boulevard? Diversity, diversity, diversity. Oh, and by the way, did we mention diversity? Native Americans, the hockey and sports programs.
Teachers.
The cruise port. The #1 and #2 cruise ports in the world are here in South Florida, and Broward County and Visit Lauderdale steals Miami by saying, come and stay in Broward and Fort Lauderdale and go on your cruise in Miami. And then LGBT, and not just diversity of LGBT, but drag queens. Genius. This is a genius marketing move.
Do you think this is in response to Newsom trying to get people from Florida to relocate?
No, to be honest with you, I don't. I think it's a response to genius thinking. Because at the end of the day, the amount of money that they're spending and the return of investment of American eyes, especially the kind of consumers, frankly, that we hope will come to Broward County, that we want to take a cruise, to come for events, to come to the Seminole Hard Rock Casino and Hotel, and. This is genius for the amount of money that they're spending to sell the diversity of everyone under the sun. Man, did Visit Lauderdale earn their salaries this week. Just telling you.
Next, let's queer up entertainment. New biopic series Taali tells the story of being trans in India. Taali, a biographical portrayal of transgender activist Gauri Sawant, featuring Shumita Sen in the lead role, made its debut on August 15th, exclusively on Jio Cinema. The web series has been met with an exceptionally positive and enthusiastic reception from viewers across the board. In a country as diverse as India, the struggle for acceptance and equal rights for marginalized communities continues to evolve. The transgender community, often referred to as Hijras in India, has long faced social exclusion and discrimination. However, the Taali series stands as a beacon of hope and resilience, illustrating a powerful narrative of self-discovery and empowerment, and the fight for constitutional recognition. Directed by the acclaimed national award-winning director Ravi Jadhav and penned by Kshiti Patwardhan, the web series portrays the life of activist Gauri Sawant. Born as Ganesh, Gauri Sawant is a prominent transgender activist hailing from Mumbai. Notably, she was a petitioner in the pivotal National Legal Services Authority's case in 2013. This case led to the historic Supreme Court judgment in 2014, officially recognizing individuals of the transgender community as the third gender. The series captures the essence of her life and those countless transgender individuals who face discrimination, limited opportunities, and a lack of legal protection. I think this is incredible. When you have over 1 billion people living in the subcontinent of India, how many people are going to be trans and are finally getting recognition and not just considered untouchable? That is incredible.
Yeah, it's true. You know, I was blessed to interview this incredible woman called Bruna Free Spirit, and she's a trans tattoo artist, right? And she was telling me about her hardship, and she told me that it was a victory whenever she came home and didn't get beat up on the way home. You know, that is the kind of violence that she's subjected to every single day. And this is in a country that, you know, sees transgender folks as a third gender, but they're not respected as such in their own communities, you know? So I think a documentary like this, it's so important to just open up the eyes of other people to see what's happening in countries like India, you know? And it's closer to home for us because we have a company that helps us, you know, part of our company, our employees are out there in India. We love you, Hamangi, and all you folks. And they live this every day, you know? So to have something like this that will be able to educate others, right? To know that we're not the only ones suffering. The U.S., we don't treat our transgender community like we should, right? But, you know, there's other countries that are trying to do better as well, you know, in their own way and at their own time, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think the more stories such as this that are shared with a wide audience, the better. Bring them on, and with hope, hearts and minds can be changed.
You know, it's interesting to me, and first off, thank you very much for the shout out to our team members in Pune. Hamangi is one of our principal as a lesbian, one of our principal writers at Queer News Tonight, and we shout out to everybody that supports our show, supports Faye, supports me. India's having a pretty good week. First off, let me point out how significant landing on the southern pole of the moon was. India joins China, Russia, and the United States in that celebration, and they're still celebrating, and you should be. But this story is so incredibly important, and you hit on it, but I want to refine your point just slightly. It is estimated that in India, there's 1.4 billion people in India. It is estimated that there is approximately 100 million LGBT in India. That is the
No
estimate.
way.
100 million.
Wow.
In terms of the number of representation. Now, you think about America being 40 million people, and think about 100 million of them being LGBT. That is what's going on in India. India is arguably one of the most important places in the world for LGBT civil rights. They've come way behind the curve than other places in the world. Once upon a time, we might have snootily said we're way ahead. These days, it's not as good as once upon a time that we thought it was. And we should cheer every story that we see going on in India for LGBT, because if India can move into a position of world leader on LGBT civil rights, their economic and political clout for LGBT could be a game changer for many places in the world. Because India, like China and like the United States, is the economic powerhouses of the world. China is not going to be a leader in this subject. The United States may, depending on who is president and who is running the state houses, etc., we know may or may not. If India continues to move in their direction, their courts are moving in this direction, popular opinion is moving in this direction. Are they there? They absolutely are not. But in the last 5 years of China, America, or India, who's won the game in the last 5 years? India. And we cheer for what was going on, because they could have dramatic effects on the entire world as it comes to LGBT civil rights.
Next, let's queer up gay culture. Whoopi Goldberg comes out on podcast to make her point.
Speaking of love and like staying out of people's business, I want to just dig into your business a little bit. Sometimes you give me lesbian vibes. You give me like stud vibes.
I think this is a secret fantasy of Raven. I think she just wants everyone to be gay, and she's just really hoping you're going to come out right here, right now. So
women have been asking me this for as long as I've been around. It's like, what do you care who I love?
Whoopi Goldberg, a longtime ally of the LGBTQ plus community, came out as straight during an interview on Raven Simone and Miranda Pierman's podcast, The Best Podcast Ever with Raven and Miranda. During the interview, Simone, Goldberg's former co-host on The View, asked the Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony award-winning actress about her sexual orientation. Goldberg responded, quote, "I am not a lesbian, but I know lots of them, and I've played them on television. I have always had lesbian friends because they're just my friends," end quote. Like many LGBTQ plus supportive actors faced with similar inquiries, Goldberg used the opportunity to share a wider message of acceptance and tolerance. On the topics of drag bans and gay marriage, Goldberg said that nobody is forcing people to go and participate in either activity. If they like it, they can go. Goldberg has previously portrayed lesbian or same-gender loving characters, most notably in the movies The Color Purple and Boys on the Side. While Goldberg's exchange with Simone was a conversation between friends and former colleagues, Abbott Elementary actor Tyler James Williams shared a post on his Instagram story a couple of months ago, pointing out the danger of questions like Simone's. He said, quote, the culture of trying to find some kind of hidden trait or behavior that a closeted person let slip is very dangerous, end quote. I was lucky enough to attend the 1987 and 1993 national marches on Washington, the gay rights marches, and I have this vivid memory of Whoopi marching near the front with a friend of hers, a PWA, pushing this person in a wheelchair. And I get very choked up when I think about that, because that was a long time ago. That was way ahead. I mean, and so there's no question that she has been a long-time ally, not ally, something of which I'm sure Raven-Symoné was well aware.
You know, here's the thing, okay? Like, we've all thought that Whoopi was gay, right? I just saw Jumping Jack Flash the other day. You guys remember that, right? So, and during that time, she was lesbian presenting, if you want to say, right? All the stereotypes that you all think about lesbians, except FayWhat, right? She fit all of them at that time. And then she kind of like merged or morphed into like an X, like to not sexual, like to be like Barbie and have no vagina or no penis. In my mind, you know, that is where Whoopi is, the greatest ally of all time. When she sits on that table at The View, she always has our backs, you know, and has been suspended and in trouble and all kinds of stuff. But that bitch keep on coming back. You ain't getting rid of me.
Yeah, that's
You know what I mean? So it's like,
it's the most interesting part of her story of the last, let's say 4 or 5 years, since Donald Trump's election. How has she survived The View? How has anyone survived The View? It is a mosh pit of personality and opinion. And Whoopi Goldberg just keeps slugging and backslapping and when it comes to our community, she's right there. And she knows what is said behind, not even behind her back anymore. But she's made it clear here. She's not. Right?
Yeah. I mean, and if she was, I think she would have said it a long time ago. She's just not, folks. We can't make everybody gay.
Yeah.
We've tried.
We've tried.
It's not working. It's in the water.
Yeah, but she's doing great as an ally. You keep doing what you're doing,
You
okay?
know, one other thing that I think is really interesting, you've seen that commercial where the actor goes, I'm not a doctor, I just play one on television. When she said that, I thought, oh my gosh, I've heard that before, and that's the joke. I'm not a lesbian, I've just played one on television. And to me, that's a really great point, because sometimes we've gotten in our own community, got caught up that you must be. She makes she makes the joke in the conversation. Raven's wife makes the joke in the podcast that she just believes and wants everyone to be gay. Well, they're not.
Right.
And I have a very good close friend that every time we talk about anybody, is he gay? Is he gay? He wants him to be gay. No, everybody is not gay. And at some point in the LGBTQ community, we've got to accept that we want and need our allies. And Whoopi Goldberg certainly is at the top of the list.
I also, I just want to say one thing, because there was something with a final comment that it is dangerous to try to dig deep to get gossip out somebody. And I know they weren't actually trying to do this. It was like what you were saying, clickbait. It was brilliant. But if someone is not ready to come out, don't force them to come out. It's something that has to be done on a personal, individual basis, and you come out every day. It's not something you only do once. It's a lifetime. So
how old is Whoopi Goldberg?
143.
144 as of
At
yesterday.
144 as of yesterday, she's not going to say anything that she damn well doesn't want to say. So I don't think she falls in that class.
She's EGOT. She ain't gonna do nothing wrong.
Do whatever
She's like, I run this world. It's fine.
Next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church right here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m.
Well, now we finish tonight's Queer News headlines with a segment we call LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News.
In LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News, let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Wilton Manors Oakland Park Community Restaurant wins Best Diner in Florida. Of all the Reuben and tuna melt peddling, pancake and egg slinging joints in the Sunshine State, Oakland Park restaurant Peter Pan Diner has just been declared the best. The General Interest Reader's Digest picked the 44-year-old eatery last week in its ranking of the most memorable and delicious greasy spoons across the country. Peter Pan has for decades been an LGBTQ plus hangout, only 1 mile from the famous Wilton Drive. After a rigorous scientific method of investigating customer ratings, TripAdvisor scores, and local gossip to find the absolute best diner in every state, it chose this diner. It is easy to imagine why Peter Pan wins the crown. The distinctive green and white building with a Disney Lost Boy on its logo, perched where Oakland Park Boulevard meets Dixie Highway, is a whole nostalgic vibe, refusing to grow up even as Fort Lauderdale sprouts skyscrapers around it. And what queer person doesn't want diner food that features a fairy named Tinkerbell, giant alligators, pirates, a girlfriend best friend, and a villain with a hook?
There it is. LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up business. Queer-owned Vampyre Cosmetics cancels collaboration with Alice Cooper after anti-trans remarks. Alice Cooper's new makeup products, released in collaboration with Vampyre Cosmetics, have been dropped from the cosmetics brand's website in light of the rock singer's recent anti-trans comments. In an interview published by Stereogum earlier this week, Cooper shared his opinions about best practice medical care for transgender youth, saying that he was, quote, afraid that it's also a fad, end quote. Using common anti-trans talking points to elaborate, he said he feels children are not mature enough to make decisions about their gender identity. He also shared anti-trans rhetoric about access to public bathrooms, claiming that allowing transgender people to use the bathroom that corresponds with their gender identity could lead to violent crimes.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up Hot Spots magazine. Pride Skate Night returns September 7th. Pride Skate Night returns for the month of September and will be held at Extreme Action Park on Thursday, September 7th. As always, the first Thursday of every month. Pride Skate Night is a fun, family-friendly event benefiting Wilton Manors Stonewall Pride. The event will also feature the limbo contest at 9:30 p.m. and give you the chance to win $100. General admission to the skate night include entrance and skate rental. VIP admission also includes 2 beer or wine treat tickets for those above 21. Pride Skate Night will feature music and video by DJ T-Pro Mix and special performances by Velvet Lenore and Rihanna Patron. Don't forget to participate. Get your tickets at extremeactionpark.com.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up the worldview. Extremists violently attacked drag show in Lebanon. On the evening of August 23rd, men who identified themselves as members of the militant group Junud el-Rab, also known as the Soldiers of God, attacked LGBTQ plus friendly venue Madame Om in the bustling Mar Mikhail area of the Lebanese capital of Beirut. The Soldiers of God is a right-wing Christian group who holds anti-LGBTQ plus views and seeks to purge anything remotely queer from the neighborhoods. The group sees itself as the moral protector of Lebanon. Speaking with Pink News, a member of the LGBTQ plus community who was at the bar on the evening of the attack said the situation was a, quote, mixture of terror, anxiety, and an uncertainty that we'll make it out alive, end quote.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up entertainment. Carlos Santana apologizes for anti-trans comments made at recent concert.
A woman is a woman and a man is a man. Yeah. Whatever you want to do in the closet, that's your business. So I'm okay with that. I am like this with my brother Dave Shapiro.
Carlos Santana faced criticism last week when a video of the musician making anti-transgender comments during a concert in New Jersey in July resurfaced on social media. The video shows Carlos saying that we know who we are, but when we grow up and see things, we start believing that we could be something else, but you know it ain't right because a woman is a woman and a man is a man. That's it, end quote. He then released an apology on his Facebook page where he wrote, quote, "I am sorry for my insensitive comments," end quote. Santana went on to mention that his goal is to honor and respect all ideals and beliefs, LGBTQ plus or not.
That is today's news for the LGBTQ plus community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ plus evening news show. If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Are you, like most of America, part of our very large television audience watching this live LGBTQ plus news broadcast right now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire TV?
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ plus stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hot Spots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, Al Ferguson, and on behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including FayWhat, Jacob Reide Jennings, and Gregg Shapiro, we will see you daily at 8 p.m. And to our LGBTQ plus world, we wish you
good night.
Good night.
We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ plus evening news show, brought to you from Happening Out Television Network. We operate in the same model of PBS and NPR, but for the LGBTQ plus community. We educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ plus community, with more than 100,000 a week watching us on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the story going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.